Your website lists acidic and alkaline foods. I thought that was interesting. It's surprising that a number of foods that people normally consider healthy are actually acidic. Let's start with fruit. I mean, I think a lot of people know
Well,
that citric fruit,
the
citrus,
citric fruits have an acid called citric
citrus.
acid.
Yep.
Okay, citric acid burns and destroys the intestinal villi and sets the stage for acidosis, which is the only cause of all sickness and disease. And I said this over 30 years ago. There's only one sickness and one disease, and that's the over-acidification of the blood and tissues due to an inverted way of living, eating, and thinking. That these diagnoses, these symptoms, are the expression of our internal environment. And the environment is what's important here. Not necessarily the glands or organs. So when we're talking about citrus fruits like oranges, they're highly acidic, except because of their high sugar too as well. So it's not just citric acid, it's also fructose.